Hello, this is Father David, here with day 7 of the Nativity Fast 2024, the great feast of the entry of the Theotokos into the temple. Joyous feast to everyone. We have today, of course, the liturgy of this moment in our salvation, where we began to speak of it yesterday in the forefeast as the moment that Our Lady comes into the temple to prepare to become the temple. And Father Stephen, in his final reflection, as we come to the end of this first full week of the fast, of course, this being a feast day, we lessen the feast with fish, wine, and oil, but we revel and marvel at this miracle that a tiny 3-year-old girl would grow up to become, as we say in the hymns, more honorable than the cherubim, more glorious beyond compare than the seraphim. Without corruption, she gave birth to God the Word. That her womb has been made more spacious than the heavens. That the one who cannot be contained by endless light years of universe is nonetheless contained and held within her womb. And so this miracle is what we contemplate. But Father Stephen draws our attention to, yet again, in the Proto-Evangelion of James. And this is a work that is available, public domain, very easily accessible. You can Google it and read it. It's not extremely long. But it gives us this information about the early life of the Theotokos. And he quotes where he says, "The priest received her when she was brought to the temple and kissed her and blessed her, saying, 'The Lord has magnified your name in all generations.'" It's just like she would say later when she grew up and say, "All generations will call me blessed. In you, on the last of the days, the Lord will manifest his redemption to the sons of Israel." And he set her down upon the third step of the altar, and the Lord God sent grace upon her, and she danced with her feet, and all the house of Israel loved her. Now this is a moment that is very innocent. You have this 3-year-old girl unselfconsciously simply dancing with her feet in this holy place. And, this is for us in the Orthodox Church, when we approach services within our temples, we do have an idea of, this is proper decorum, church etiquette. I'm always grateful when someone comes and inquires for the first time. Maybe somebody texts me or emails or sends a voicemail and say, what ought I to think about in terms of dress code? What ought I to think about in terms of comportment? What can I participate in? What can't I participate in? And when you go into someone else's house, this simply is just consideration of your host, good manners. And we do expect people, yes, even parents with children, to teach their children. We don't run around in church. We don't yell out in church. These are things that, even though I'm teaching right now in church, and saying these things loudly. So we do have these ways of helping, hopefully, and we do it as a help for the little ones within church, but also for the grown Orthodox Christians. We come in and we have these ways of making the sign of the cross, ways of kissing the icons. I tell my catechumens, if you see the feet in an icon, kiss the feet. If you see the hands, kiss the hands. Why am I mentioning all of this about rules of entering the temple? Well, because I think that Father Stephen Freeman's meditation, and I don't think he goes into the point of sentimentality or anything like that. Indeed, he speaks of little small analoi that we have, just behind me. You can't really see them here, but small, I can turn the camera, just here, little small icon stands that have tiny little icons on them. And our children will come and they will kiss the icons as they can reach them. And it is a beautiful condescension for these kids to show just simply love. And I think that this is really what he's getting at, and ultimately the innocent dance of the Theotokos at 3 years old, and our approach to this, to come into church and to remember as we go through these things that we have been trained to do, that perhaps from childhood we've just simply done by rote and not even thinking about, and it can simply become automatic. But to look at the heart behind these things, to perhaps have the heart of a child again, and to approach this beloved saint or the Theotokos or Christ within an icon, and simply to give them the holy kiss with love and gratitude, a simplicity of heart, a guilelessness that a child puts forth. There are people who say, and here I have the stole, one of the vestments that I put on. And we as priests are trained to serve these services with a particular way, as our bishop directs us to. Oftentimes, there will be moments of correction. No, do not serve it this way, serve it that way. Do not go over here, stand here, not there. There can be these directions. And oftentimes, I say often enough, people, particularly if they're not from an Orthodox background, if perhaps they're from what other people might call low church, something without liturgy, something that's more spontaneous, something that's more just maybe off the cuff, they'll say, do you really think God's impressed with all of the vestments and all of the choreography, if you want to put it that way, the liturgics, where we stand and what we say and how we do this, Do you really think, as one person said, are you impressing God so much that you are compelling him to move his hand to give you grace to have Holy Communion on the altar? Do you think that's forcing God to do it? And I said, and I hope I wasn't out of line, but it seems genuine to me that the longer that I am a priest, the more humble I see God to be. In that he allows himself to be asked by us, sinners, children, to come and be with us and to keep his promise that he gave to us. And then in humility, he does come. And he makes the bread and the wine to be the body and blood. In spite of all of our liturgical hiccups, I don't know, somebody trips when they're going out somewhere, or somebody flubs a line, or somebody forgets a cue, or I don't know, the choir sings the wrong thing, or, somebody drops something in a baptismal font. It's happened to me. Or, a child who's getting baptized, lets loose with having to go to the bathroom, or some really human moment, or just splashes the priest, I've even seen in one occasion. These moments, I tell the person, if all of these things happen, and God still says, yes, that's, and God still bestows his grace, it isn't that we should be sloppy in our services, but he would be very easily impressed if indeed we were compelling him to do these things. Indeed, I think he sees us as simply obeying commandments, serving him, desiring to glorify him, to sing to him, to serve him, and to receive from him that which he gives to us. But it's almost as if we're children dressing up in daddy's clothes. So both of these are needed. Seriousness and a real attempt to give God our best, and yet understanding that even at our best, we are still children dancing. Let us come with simple hearts, crying out to our Father in heaven, have mercy upon us. Give us what we need that can only come from you. So let us remember our little child of a Mother of God today. And as we seek, yes, to honor God in faith and love and with reverence, let us remember not to be childish, but to be childlike, and to exhibit that trusting, guileless behavior that would mark us as his trusting, ready, and humble children and obedient children. So may the Lord God bless you on this feast day. Lord willing, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.